When he was about 11, Moses was moved to yet another orphanage in KwaZulu-Natal, an apartheid-designated black homeland near the Indian Ocean. In his early teens, Moses ran away again. He hitchhiked 300 miles back to Vosloorus to stay with his older brother Patrick. Now on his own, Moses worked menial jobs. He trained as an amateur boxer, building his strength. He also became popular with local women for his charm and disarming smile. Sithole's defense attorney, Eben Jordan.
What I can tell you, he is a very intelligent man, well-spoken. Apparently he was a member of the library here in Pretoria. He took out classical music CDs.
But his friendly demeanor hid a warped view of women. He was quick to anger. The slightest rejection from a member of the opposite sex could trigger a violent rage. The first time Sithole acted on these impulses came in 1987, when he attacked his girlfriend's sister, 38-year-old Patricia Khumalo.
He lured her to the mine dump in Cleveland, Johannesburg, where he raped her.
He left Khumalo tied up with her clothing thrown up over her face. She managed to escape, but fearing for her life, she never went to the authorities. Sithole had not yet killed, but like other serial killers, this first crime established a pattern, one that would become more violent and complex over the next 8 years.
Serial killers all have a fantasy, which is the basic blueprint of what they do. The problem is, reality is never as perfect as fantasy. So they keep on repeating it in order to get it right, to get it perfect. And the problem is, it will never be as perfect as it is in your fantasy.
A desolate veld outside of Johannesburg would soon become the stage for Moses Sithole's twisted fantasies of power and death. Johannesburg, South Africa, 1987. 22-year-old Moses Sithole had raped his first victim. Because she was too afraid to tell the police, Sithole was able to assault another woman. His actions became more violent over time. His third victim, Lindiwe Nkosi, was another girlfriend's sister. He lured her to a remote spot, then threatened to pour gasoline on her and set her on fire if she didn't submit. After raping Nkosi, he choked her until she lost consciousness. When she revived, he told her he would kill her if she went to the authorities. She too kept silent. Emboldened, Sithole committed more rapes.
There's an incredible tension building up in him. It's almost like an urge. He must get to this point where he is going to stalk, to find a person, the right person, and also all the tension and planning that goes behind getting the right person and then actually acting out the plan that he has been fantasizing.
Investigator Leon Nell would see that Sithole's victims fit a profile.
Moses Sithole would go for ladies that were looking for work. They were easy targets.
Sithole met Doris Swakamisa in Germiston in February 1989. At the time, Sithole worked as a store clerk, but he told Doris that he was a successful businessman from a neighboring town. Sithole promised Doris employment and offered to personally escort her to her new job. When they arrived at the train station, Sithole told Swakamisa that they could take a shortcut through the veld. Once they had walked far enough so no one would hear her screams, Sithole pulled out a knife hidden in a folded newspaper and told Doris he was going to rape her. Sithole tied Swakamisa's hands with her underwear, then assaulted her. He claimed he would not kill her if she promised not to tell anyone. He then left her in the veld with her hands and feet bound. 3 months later, Doris Swakamisa spotted Moses Sithole in a shop in downtown Johannesburg. She called the police in the South African town of Cleveland, where the rape took place. Sithole was arrested.
He was loaded with the victim in the back of a police vehicle. On the way to the Cleveland police station, he then said to her, "Bitch, I should have killed you."
Sithole claimed he was innocent, saying Doris had picked the wrong man. But the judge didn't believe his story. Sithole was sentenced to 7 years in prison. This perceived injustice became another betrayal in his mind, one that deepened his anger. In prison, Sithole insisted that he hadn't hurt anyone. His warped view of women apparently kept him from seeing the irony of his own statements.
I regret not having killed the first lady that falsely accused me.
Sithole had used fear to control the women he raped. Now, he became the victim. Sithole would later tell Superintendent Vinyl Fillion about that difficult time.
He was sodomized by co-inmates, assaulted and rejected by them for being a rapist.
Sithole outwardly maintained his calm demeanor. To the guards, he appeared to be a model prisoner. He bided his time, concentrating on survival and cultivating his rage. On one visitor's day, he met Martha Ndlovu, the sister of another inmate. After his release in November 1993, he moved in with Martha over the objections of her family.
Her family was not exactly satisfied that Martha could love me. Her mother's objection that I came from prison. How could she love me?
And although the couple was not legally married, she was considered to be Sithole's wife. He soon began working with Martha's brother fixing cars in the yard of her father's home. It was a humble beginning, but it seemed Sithole was starting a new life. Across South Africa, it was a time of unprecedented hope.
Democracy and freedom for all. I stand here before you not as a prophet, but as a humble servant.
Nelson Mandela was elected president, and new possibilities were emerging for black South Africans. But for Sithole, freedom provided a different kind of opportunity. For the first time, black South Africans felt they were able to travel freely across the country. Many small-town women came to the cities looking for work. Their naivete and gentle country manners made them especially vulnerable to a sexual predator like Sithole. After a few months, Sithole stopped working as a mechanic. Each morning, he left the house with a folded newspaper under his arm. He claimed to be looking for work, but he was actually preparing to commit his first murder. Like many other serial killers, Sithole focused his rage on the most marginal groups in his society. In this case, unemployed black women.
For every crime, there's a build-up of tension. They experience certain trigger events. It could be a conflict with a female or even just another person, which acts as the final trigger as to why they go and commit the murders.
In early July 1994, Sithole met 19-year-old Maria Monama on the streets of Pretoria.
He had a type of personality that people, and specifically women, could fall for very easily.
Sithole, who introduced himself as Sylvester, was neatly dressed. He charmed the young woman and her family.
He was able to make himself into this presentable person that middle-class people were able to invite into their homes and even contemplate having their daughter date or entrusting their child to his care.
Soon after, Sithole lured Maria to a remote veld and strangled her. It was his first murder.
It's sort of a masterpiece of a thing that happens during the day and no one can see. Even if there were people around, it's so quick that it takes a split of a second to put everything under control.
When Maria's body was found, there was a cryptic note scrawled on her leg. I am not fighting with you. We will stay here until you understand.